Joining us via the phone is Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson. Secretary of State Benson, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
This is the craziest radio TV show I've ever done. I mean, I'm on Zoom. We got somebody out at a restaurant in Novi on their iPhone. Tyler's in our studio. We're like it, but that's just the way it's all happened today. We have had to all figure out how to do our jobs in a whole
Yep.
new way. And oh my goodness, and you
We are
too, huh?
adapting and overcoming.
We are. Listen, I am the poster child for what is a challenge for a lot of people when it comes to licensing because my birthday unfortunately was March 29th.
Oh,
And
happy belated birthday.
thank you very much. But I appreciate the executive orders from the governor keeping me out of jail right now. But boy, do
You're welcome.
I need two things really bad, and we'll get off me and talk about everybody else. But again, it's good to talk about this. I need a haircut really bad, which we'll take care of next week. And I definitely need a visit to the Secretary of State because a lot of the things that I do, I have to do in your office because I had a birthday and my dress changed.
Well, you can. I don't know if you've tried, and I don't know the technical issues, but you can change your address online. You can renew your license online, and also by mail. And you can also change your address by mail. But if for folks who do need to come into our offices for a transaction that has to be done in person, we have reopened by appointment only. And we are going to be increasing the appointments. So we know right now a lot of the appointments are taken, particularly in the Southeast Michigan area. We're actually releasing thousands of appointments slots every morning, 24 hours in advance of each day to allow for same-day options as well. So we're working to comply with the governor's social distancing guidelines and avoid crowding in our offices through this appointment option, which has been so far going smoothly and efficiently across the state. But that said, we encourage everyone to check and confirm that they need to come in the office because about half the people who come into our offices in the past have not needed to do that in order to get their service done.
All right, so I'm going to go back on the website because I might have been wrong about things that I just assumed I actually needed to physically do in the office. So if I can do it online, great. And thank you so much for that tip, too, Secretary of State Benson. So you guys are releasing more appointments every day because when I first logged on, it looked like I wasn't going to be able to get in for a month or so. But it's really good to hear that there are new appointments. So should we keep logging in every day to see if we can make some progress?
Yeah, check back. And I mean, look, the reality is there's also a backlog right now. We were closed for over 2 months, and so it's not always going to be this hard to get an appointment. This is a very unique moment, and that's another reason why we've extended the deadline to renew until July 31st. But that said, every day there are, as I mentioned, same-day appointments opening up and available, and people can also, we don't encourage this, but in an emergency, you can go to a branch office. There will be someone to greet you at the door who can then also help assist with making a same-day appointment, and then you would, come back. And so that's like, in the direst circumstances. But for change of address and for renewals, the vast majority of those can be completed online.
Okay, well, I'm going to get to work on that online this afternoon. I'm just sitting here scratching my head thinking, we've had so many emergencies lately. What could be a real Secretary of State licensing emergency? But I'm sure there are some that come up with people.
Too many people, yes. I mean, people need to drive to get to work, and, we are still in this moment for the next few months where I think there's going to be a lot of leeway around licensing and vehicle plates and all that. So, people do have time, and you can also call, or folks can call if they want, 888-SOS-MISH, M-I-C-H, with specific or unique problems, because we want to be receptive to that. But again, there is a significant backlog for people like yourself who otherwise would have been able to have this done in March, who are now, trying to get things done. And we're going to keep monitoring that to see if, we need to even extend the expiration date even further to make sure, that we're...
So Secretary of State, we've been out of the streets now that we've been able to get back out reporting in restaurants and retail as we did just before you came on the air. And we've seen some really creative ways for people to implement their social distancing. There's a restaurant in Sylvan Lake where the proprietor Vicky there put these stuffed animals on the tables you cannot sit at and called them COVID monsters. And then it was great. And then we found a Coney Island in on Telegraph that actually put shower curtains in front of the booths that couldn't be opened. So we've seen it all, and I imagine you've had to do some creative things in your offices as well to help people with social distancing.
Yes, I mean, we created social distancing guidelines. We require all our staff to do health checks every morning, wear masks and gloves, and we place plexiglass separators at all of our counters. And so, yeah, we're all having to adjust and invest in more safety equipment right now. And we actually had our employees come back a full week early before we opened our offices just to kind of do a deep cleaning and prepare with all these additional protections in place. And then, we also hope and expect the public will wear a mask when they come into our office to, again, protect themselves and our staff.
There's been, and this one gets a little political, and we just hate doing the political thing on the show. So,
me too. I don't like
good.
Politics.
So we'll stay out of the mud and just try to share information.
Yes.
So people are duly concerned after watching the news last week and seeing the challenges they have with the election down in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's been a lot of debate about absentee ballots here in the state of Michigan. We got a really nice public service announcement from our Rochester and West Bloomfield clerks about absentee ballots and how to go out and get them. Do you have anything you want to say about this upcoming election and, any challenges that we may be facing or things that are going okay?
Yeah, I think people can be certain, and this is a time of great uncertainty in so many ways and changing, and as you mentioned, multiple emergencies. For us, we want to give people certainty and clarity around the two things. One, that the elections will happen in August and November. We want everyone to have confidence in that. And two, when they do, you'll be able to either safely vote from home by mail or safely vote in person. We're trying to protect and create safe ways to do both of those things. One of the ways we do that is by ensuring everyone knows of their choices, and particularly their choice to vote from home, which they have a right to do. It's a new right under a law that voters passed themselves in 2018, amendment to our state constitution. So there is a need, and our clerks have been great at educating all voters on how to exercise their choice to vote by mail and vote from home. And a lot of people have been taking that choice because it's an easy, safe way and convenient to conveniently cast your vote. But we also want to assure people that we will be providing a safe in-person option as well, so that we can have choices and voters can feel if they do want to vote in person, they'll be able to do that.
I assume a well-connected person such as yourself every once in a while has a chance to talk to the governor. Do you two talk at all?
Yeah, regularly. Yep.
Now, so can I just ask you, this is probably the one question I assume no one else in the media has asked, but maybe they have. How's she holding up through all this?
That's a great question. I think this has been challenging. I mean, she's an incredibly strong person, incredibly smart and very focused. And, this is a time of heightened anxiety and stress for so many. And to stay focused on providing solutions and to kind of, stay above the fray and, but understand that everyone is, in this, we've got an economic crisis, we've got a health crisis, we've got a political crisis from making sure our democracy can continue safely and securely. So I think she's handled so much with grace and strength, but, I can't imagine. I know her. I've known her for a long time. I know how much she cares about all people of Michigan, truly. And it's just got to be tough when you see people, suffering in this health crisis and in this economic crisis, and trying to do the best you can to improve everyone's lives. But we're up against a significant mountain of challenges.
But
right now.
she's kind of in a no-win situation to some extent. Really, everyone that is serving right now is. This is a very difficult thing to untangle. There's no textbook to it,
right.
And there's no way to make everybody happy. I get that. You can pick on some of her decisions, but there's no way to make everybody happy.
that's right. And I think that's, to me, I go back to data. I mean, my background is as an academic and I ran a law school, but I like data to define like how we act, because I think data can help inform like best practices. I like looking at best practices and trying to, replicate things that work and avoid things that don't. So I think there are ways that you can lead right now. And to me, the thing that also underscores everything is that we're at a unique moment of history, and the way that we act, the things that we do, will define how our state and country reacts to future potential pandemics or similar crises. And so we have to be mindful of that and to lead, doing the best we can right now, and with an eye towards setting a good precedent for the future as well.
All right, last question, I promise, because we've taken a lot of your time. And this is again about her. Do you think she'll be the vice president of the United States? And if so, would she do a good job?
I think she'd do a good job in anything that she did, and I think she's very committed to Michigan. I mean, I don't pretend to know the workings or decisions are being made far above my pay grade,
Okay.
but I know about her. I know she's committed to our state.
Madam Secretary of State, thank you so much for being with us on our
you.
show. And let's keep in touch. And I know your hands full. Good luck with everything.
I'll come back anytime. Thanks for having me.
Very good. She is our Secretary of State. Jocelyn Benson joining us here in the program.